We had a stranger in the bull last night with a marvellous selection of walking sticks. Oh, Stanley always spoiled him about to stick with the horse's head handle, wasn't in it? This chap had picked some lovely sticks. Some were holly, some ash, but mostly hazel, and he'd carved the handle ends. Now, he'd cut the ash sticks complete with a piece of root. Then he'd turned them upside down with part of the root for the handle. Somehow he'd spotted some vague similarity to a sheep or a dragon or a bird's head, and he'd improved on nature by carving in the details. What really took my fancy, though, were the shepherd's crooks. They were mostly made from sheep's horn, mounted on straight hazel ones. The horn had been heated and bent or straightened to produce shapes. And then they'd been carved before being mounted onto the sticks. Oh, this carving was intricate. One was a perfect sea trout, curved in fury as they do when a fisherman hooks them. And another was a pheasant's head and beak. But the one I really fell in love with had a sheepdog at the tip of the handle, 3 sheep on the arch of the crook, and the pen, which the dog was driving the sheep into, was where the crook joined the stem of the wand. Oh, it was a sheepdog trial in miniature. It's lovely to know that such craftsmanship still exists. Anyway, last Saturday was the day of a very important event. It was something we'd all been waiting for a long time. The wedding of young Mark and Shula.
What are you doing now?
What does it look like?
You're not even changed yet.
Somebody has to wrap their present.
I've been ready for ages.
I'm not surprised. You only have yourself to think about. I've had to get the kids ready.
They're very quiet. Where are they?
In the sitting room. The first one to squeal gets left behind.
I wish we didn't have to take them. What's the pleasure in a day out with them tagging along? Don't suppose Shula wants them there.
Oh, that's just too bad. If Shula hasn't made the connection between weddings and babies yet, she's got a lot to learn. Well, help me now you're here.
Huh?
Hold the end down.
Why'd you leave it till now, for heaven's sake?
Because I've been traipsing round Dorchester with trays of carrots all week, remember? Right. Move your hand now.
Is that it?
I've got to put a ribbon on yet. You filled the car up?
Yes. Look, I'll finish this. You go and get ready.
No, you'll make an absolute pig's ear of it.
Well, hurry up then. I'm an usher. I'm supposed to show people to their places.
They need to make such a fuss. And Stevens isn't Westminster Abbey. They can hardly get lost.
I've got to be there 40 minutes early. Said so in the book Jennifer lent me.
No, you don't want to take any notice of that.
And I've got to show Jill to her pew.
She knows where to sit. She goes to church every week.
Then I'll have to bar the door in case Mark makes a run for it.
I'm sure Nigel will have tied his shoelaces together just in case.
And put help on the bottom of his shoes. You can rely on Nigel.
Poor Mark, having to trust him as best man. And with Patrick Litchfield taking the photos.
Oh, yeah, I've been trying to place him. Is he the one who does those girly calendars in the Bahamas?
I'm getting a doll's house for my birthday, Elizabeth.
Oh, yes?
Well, that's nice for you, Kate. It's going to cost £95.
Gosh.
Daddy says I'm spoiled. He'll still buy it for me, though.
Are you two ready? The car will be here soon.
I'm ready, Auntie Jill.
That's a good girl.
Auntie Jill, don't you think Shula looks like a fairy princess?
Yes, you'd better not go kissing any frogs.
That's a laugh. Can we go yet?
In a minute, dear. Why don't you go and look out for the car?
I want to sit in the middle. Shall I stand on the steps and wave so they know they've come to the right place?
Don't crease your dress.
All right, I won't.
I give her 2 hours, then I throttle her. Is this headdress all right? It looks lovely. Oh, dear. Listen to the bells. I don't know who's more nervous, your father or me. What's Dad got to be nervous about? This is the moment he's been waiting for since Shula was born. It's very emotional for him. He's got to give her away. I suppose he has. No one's going to buy her, are they? Oh. Hey, she remembered to swap her engagement ring to the other hand. Yes, I saw her do it. I do hope David recognises Bunty. She'll be furious if she has to find her own pew. How can you miss Bunty? She gets her clothes from Rent-A-Tent.
Will someone get that child out of the house before I break her neck?
If anyone's going to strangle Kate, I think as chief bridesmaid it should be me.
What's she doing now?
She's decided she wants to wear nail varnish. Oh, I'll sort her out, this pest.
Right, Jill, have the double. Your car's here.
I'll go and get the brat.
You better not keep him waiting. Come on, off you go.
You do look lovely, Shula. Thanks, Mum. So do you. Oh dear. Bye, Phil.
Bye. See you there. Well, here we are. Do you want a drink of anything?
No, thanks, Dad. It'd spoil my lipstick. Anyway, I'm quite calm.
Oh, good. You can help me up the aisle.
Come on, you're not nervous.
Well, not nervous exactly, but... Well, I've never done this before.
It's all new to me, too. Look, Dad. Thanks for everything.
Oh, good grief. But I can't give my daughter a good send-off.
I know I'm doing the right thing.
Well, of course you are.
I'm just sorry it's been so long drawn out.
As long as you're happy, that's all that matters to me and your mother. You know that.
Yes. Oh, I hope the car's here soon.
Oh, we don't have to go straight away. It's the bride's prerogative to be late, isn't it?
I know, but I don't want poor Mark to think I'm not coming.
I wonder who's playing the organ. It can't be Mr. Archer.
He must have a stand-in. Are you sure you've got the ring, Nigel?
Unless, of course, you're going to hop to and fro during the service.
The ring?
I keep telling you, it's quite safe.
Show me.
No, you've got to trust me. Relax.
It's easy for you to say.
Here, have another swig of my head flask.
No, thanks.
It'll make you feel much better. Oh, your mother's looking a bit tearful.
She'll be all right. And you've got enough cash to pay the church fees.
I've already paid them. Oh, there's Mrs. Archer. Look, with Tony. She looks a bit tearful, too.
You shut up. It's a wedding, not a wake.
It's a very momentous day for the mothers.
I hope Shula's all right.
You haven't seen her today, have you? It's awful bad luck.
I rang her up. She sounded fine.
She's got Lizzie to look after her, and you've got me.
Yes. About the reception, don't forget you've got to drive Shula's car over to Netherbourne Hall for us to go away.
Honestly, Mark, I'm not a half-wit.
I didn't say you were.
Just leave everything to me. Hey, up. Here we go. Well, get up.
Right. Do I leave my hat and gloves here?
Yes, don't worry. I'll take care of them. What's the matter? You're not scared, are you?
No. But I'd feel a lot happier if I knew you'd got the ring.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here in the sight of God and in the face of this congregation to join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony, which is an honorable estate instituted of God himself, signifying unto us the mystical union that is betwixt Christ and his church. Mark, Charles, Timothy, wilt thou have this woman to thy wedded wife, to live together after God's ordinance in the holy estate of matrimony? Wilt thou love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, and forsaking all other, keep thee only unto her, so long as ye both shall live?
I will.
Shula Mary, wilt thou have this man to thy wedded husband, to live together according to God's law in the holy estate of matrimony? Wilt thou love him, comfort him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health, and forsaking all other, keep thee only unto him, so long as ye both shall live?
I will.
I, Shula Mary,
I, Shula Mary,
take thee, Mark Charles Timothy,
take thee, Mark Charles Timothy,
to my wedded husband,
to my wedded husband,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
for richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
till death us do part,
till death us do part,
according to God's holy law.
according to God's holy law.
And thereto I give thee my troth.
And thereto I give thee my troth. It's typical, isn't it? Typical.
Don't go on, Pat. It's not my fault.
Of course it is. You could have checked the tyres when you went for petrol.
It wouldn't have made any difference. It's not a slow puncture. Must have picked up a nail or something.
We're going to be hopelessly late. They have to start the meal without us.
It's only a buffet.
Oh, hurry up.
We'd have got away earlier if you hadn't been so keen to squeeze yourself onto every photograph.
We're the family. We ought to be on the pictures.
You don't normally care.
Oh, shut up, Tony. Can't get over him being an old friend of Caroline.
You're as bad as everyone else. Oh,
Oh, that's got it.
Don't wipe your hands all over your trousers.
It's a good job I'm not in a hired morning suit.
Suppose the kids will get filthy as well.
Well, I couldn't have them sitting in the car when I was jacking it up, could I?
And those relatives of the Hebdons weren't very pleased. They were supposed to be following us.
Well, they can find their way from here.
You sure it's right at that T-junction?
Yes. At least I think so. Blimey, this spare's a bit soft. We'll have to limp to a garage and put some air in.
Oh, honestly, I was hoping to have a look round at Netherbourne Hall.
What for? So you'll know which entrance to storm come the revolution?
They've got some beautiful works of art. The reception's in the Van Dyke room.
I don't care if it's in the Mickey Mouse room as long as the beer lasts out. I could murder a pint.
I think Nigel did very well. I must say, I had my doubts.
People underestimate Nigel. He can take responsibility seriously. Well, sometimes.
I hear he's leaving the ice cream trade. Not forced out by the Borchester Mafia, I hope.
Oh, no. Mr. Snow's got to go back to the South Pole to make lots more ice cream for next summer.
I see. Well, the village will be quieter without him. I shall miss his musical repertoire.
Hello, Richard. Glad you could join us.
Oh, we were delighted to be asked. It's such a happy occasion. There's a tremendous feeling of goodwill towards Mark and Shula, don't you think?
Elizabeth says it radiates from Phil. All because he's got one of his daughters off his hands.
What, losing a daughter and gaining a bathroom?
More like a telephone in our case. Jennifer's looking for you, Jill. Something to do with Kate.
Oh, no. I saw her racing up and down with Tony's lot. I hope she hasn't broken anything. Excuse me.
Very nice service, I thought, Richard. Thank you very much.
I enjoyed it. I'm sorry it was such a crush in the vestry.
Oh, it wasn't your fault. I might have known it'd take Nigel forever to sign his name. He came rather late to join up writing.
I saw you having a long talk with his daughter. Oh, rubbish.
She was telling him all about her plans for the oppressed.
I did not.
And how she objected to the unequal distribution of wealth. She swilled her 6th glass of champagne.
You must know, I was telling him about our organic carrots.
Oh, he's going to buy some?
No, but he was very interested.
Play your cards right and you could be by appointment, just like Grey Gables, Tony.
Well, at the prices I'm getting, I don't need to be. Any more champagne in that bottle, Nigel? Yes, of course. Pat.
Please, we're making up for lost time.
Oh, what kept you? We had a puncture, wouldn't you know? Oh, bad luck.
Those relatives of the Hebdons were furious. They went miles out of their way.
I told you it was left at the T-junction, Tony.
Serves them right. They never even offered to help. I said, do you want to give us a hand with decorating the car later on?
Oh, yes. What's it going to be? Silver balloons like the royal wedding?
No, Nigel thought of something much more appropriate.
Raspberry sauce and corn in. Oh, my poor car.
Just think what he could have done with these chocolate flakes.
It's Mr. Snowy's revenge. I dread to think what he's put in the cases.
Hundreds and thousands, probably. Still, you only get married once.
I don't know why. I could do it every Saturday. Why doesn't everyone tell you how much fun it is?
I don't think I'd want to go through it all again. It's the next 2 weeks I'm looking forward to.
Poor Mum. I think it only dawned on her when she saw the car that we really were married.
Sorry about my mother howling like that.
She didn't howl, she sobbed.
It's not that she doesn't like you.
No?
She couldn't get her hat to stay on right. It upset her a bit.
Oh, I see.
It was rather fraught at our house this morning. I was glad when it was time to go.
Poor Mark.
How are things at Brookfield?
Oh, Dad and David were more worried about a cow with milk fever than the wedding. I couldn't help thinking about Gran.
Whatever for?
Oh, just how she'd have loved to be there today. She and Grandad were married for nearly 60 years. It's an awfully long time.
We've been married 6.5 hours. It's a start.
I hope we'll be as happy as they were.
We will be, I promise you. Come on, we've got a long way to go.
Honestly, Dad, you gave me the fright of my life.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jill, love. I didn't mean to.
I was hammering on the door for ages. I was about to come back to Brookfield for my spare key.
Well, I got myself all ready about 5:30, and I thought I'd just sit down and dance at the paper for 5 minutes, and well, I must have dropped off.
I didn't know what to think. Even the back door was locked.
Well, I'd locked up ready to go out, you see. What shall I do with the rest of this pie?
Oh, leave it there. I expect David will finish it later. You must have woken up with a dreadful start. It's not good for you.
No, it's all right, love. It won't happen again.
I don't like to think of you being on your own if you can't hear who's at the door.
I'm not deaf. I was asleep, that's all.
Yes, I know you were. But say you were upstairs. Anybody could walk in. Burglars?
Don't, dear. There's no burglars round here anyway. I keep the door locked if I'm upstairs or out the back. Sergeant Barry gave us a talk at the over 60s.
That's something, I suppose. You ready for a cup of tea?
Oh, yes, please.
It is a worry having you there on your own.
Oh, I'm not short of company. There's always someone popping in. Phil and David brings me milk, and there's Harry with the post.
You've always got the phone. You know you can ring us at any time, don't you?
Yeah, and I've got Mrs. Roper to clean, and my meals on wheels. Oh, I do very well.
I sometimes wonder if you do too much. You're out in that garden till all hours.
Oh, it does me good, the fresh air and the exercise. Hey, have you seen Doris's dahlias this year?
Mrs. P said she saw you up a ladder the other day.
Well, how else am I supposed to pick me apples? I haven't got extending arms.
David or Elizabeth could have done it for you.
I can do it for myself. And what's it got to do with Mrs. Perkins anyway? She'd be better off minding her own business.
Now, Dad. And you're set on going on the over 60s outing?
Yeah, of course I am. Everybody's going.
Joe Grundy isn't. Clary told me.
That's only because that's the day he's up in court for those sheep.
Well, I wish you'd think about it. Being jerked around on a coach with Mrs Antrobus doesn't sound much fun to me. And I don't suppose it's the last chance you'll ever have to go to Weston. So, what are you going to do?
Well, they're not staying there all winter. I've got no agreement with them. They're not even the original tenants.
No, you drove them away the other week.
Pat, I did nothing of the sort. They left of their own free will. They've probably taken a cheap break to the Costa del Dole.
Oh, honestly, the girl's about 6 months pregnant. They wouldn't have left without good reason.
They still owe me a week's rent. That's good enough reason. And they've left me with a load of unwashed layabouts just squatting there.
Exactly. They've got squatters' rights.
They've no rights at all as far as I'm concerned.
It's victimization. Just because they haven't got jobs. Not everyone has the advantages you've always had.
The biggest advantage I ever had was not being afraid of a day's work.
Don't you see? These people are at the bottom of the heap. All it needs is for someone to give them a chance.
Right. You let them sleep in your barn. See how you like it when they invite along a few more rowdies to tune their motorbikes at midnight and start pilfering from the village shop.
I suppose you think you're doing a public service shoving them on the street.
I don't think we want their type in the village, actually.
Right, have you offered Pat some more coffee? I'm fine, thanks, Jennifer. Tony and John are still playing Space Invaders. They'll be hours. What were you talking about? The work ethic, feudalism, absentee landlord. Oh, gosh.
Pat would like me to play Father Christmas to those louts in our cottage.
I'd just like you to show a bit of consideration. Oh, we've tried to. They don't show any consideration for the rest of the village. Poor Uncle Tom's nearly at his wit's end.
Yes, I've got to sort it out this week. It's wasted enough of my time.
Oh, yes. Write them off. Oh, it's not like that.
Who was that on the phone?
Oh, it's Jill. She's worried about Grandad. She couldn't make him hear when she went to fetch him this evening. Oh, he's all right, isn't he? Oh, yes. But it got her a bit rattled. She wondered if there was anything we could do.
Huh? Poor old bloke doesn't get a minute's peace as it is. Just sits down with his feet up, and there's you or Jill or Christine at the door with an apple pie.
He's nearly 89.
Exactly. Old enough to look after himself.
Suppose I should go more often. I'm not far away. Oh, you haven't got time. Now you're helping Tony more.
And you've got the People's Republic of Ambridge to organise.
Very funny. I did an article about some special phones a month or two back. There's an alarm in case of an emergency.
I can just see the whole village downing tools to answer a Mayday call from Glebe Cottage.
I shall remember this when you're old and infirm, Brian.
When I'm 89, I don't want anyone fussing around me. I'll live on my own in absolute squalor, and I'll take pot shots at anyone who comes near me with a meal on a wheel.
Well, that's it. All over.
Who won?
Well, I had to let John win, of course, for his sulks.
I think we'd better be going now, Tony.
Eh? Oh, all right.
I'll go and get the kids. I suppose it is quite late. Sit down a minute, Tony. I've got something to show you.
What's the matter with Pat?
We fell out over Hippie Cottage.
Huh? Thought you'd thrown those blokes out last week.
What do you think of these?
Huh? What are they?
Some designs, your Bridge Farm flower bags.
Corn poppies and wheat sheaves. Oh, that's original.
Well, it's supposed to be wholesome, Brian. What did you expect? Drums of chemicals and combines?
Very nice.
Well, they're only rough sketches. I should have finished them by the end of the week. And I know a place where you can get them printed.
Recycled paper, of course.
Only don't tell Pat, will you? I want it to be a surprise.
Well, it's not my idea of a honeymoon, Nigel. When it's my turn, I shall go to Venice on the Orient Express.
I suppose Scotland isn't awfully romantic.
Speeding across Europe, drinking champagne, wondering if the man in the Astrakhan coat's the murderer.
Mind you, there are all those ruined castles and misty glens. I expect I'll have a fabulous time.
Mark's going to spend the whole time sloshing about catching fish. And Shula's got to sit on the bank and bash them over the head.
I'm sure she'll do it beautifully. Look how Lady Diana coped. Do you want a splash more rifle sauce?
No thanks. It's slipping all over the place. It is now.
Make the most of it. This is the last Mr. Snowy King size you'll eat in a long time.
Oh, it's just as well. I could hardly breathe in my bridesmaid's dress.
You look ravishing. I was quite overcome.
I could tell. I know it's the best man's duty to kiss the bridesmaid, but even so...
Your dad wasn't happy, was he? I don't know what we're going to do, Lizzie. And privacy will be a big problem without the snowmobile.
So will transport.
I dare say my mother will lend me her car.
I found the key to Mark and Shula's flat yesterday.
Huh?
Yes, Mum had it to take some wedding presents across. And the dreaded cheese plant.
I bet it takes over.
We could pop over and see. It might need watering.
I could wear my shorts and bush hat and take my jungle knife in case.
Oh, honestly, Nigel. Sometimes you're thicker than any jungle.
Am I? Why?
Morning.
Hello, Uncle Walter.
You're up and about early, Mr. Gabriel. Look, can I tempt you to a nice lolly?
Oh, no, thanks, Dad. I'd better not. The coach will be here any minute.
Oh, of course. It's the over-60s outing. Mum and Dad wouldn't let Grandad go.
Doesn't have to ask permission, does he?
He was looking forward to it. I know he was.
Well, they said it was too much for him.
Oh, you stand for it.
Yes, we was going to go for a ride on one of those pony carriages. Mrs. P won't. She says they're dangerous.
I'm sure you'll find someone else. Oh, there's Joe. Perhaps he'd go with you.
Morning, Mr. Grundy.
Yeah, he's not coming on the outing. He's up in court today about the grant he claimed for those sheep.
What's all the shouting about?
I thought you might like a final cornet.
Very kind of you, I'm sure. I'm only up in front of the bench and not being transported.
He means you won't see Mr. Snowy again. It's positively his last appearance.
Is that a promise?
Good morning, everyone. If I could just have your attention for a moment.
Oh, it's that dumb woman.
Is she going with you?
Nelson says she's our minder.
And when it arrives, I want you to form an orderly queue.
Blimey, who says she is?
I don't want any pushing. There are plenty of seats to go round.
How awful. Can't you lose her at Western, Uncle Walter?
Well, I'll do my best, love.
Mr. Gabriel, are you going to join us?
No, I'd better go.
Oh, good luck.
I'll tell you one thing, Walter. I'd rather go to court any day.
Got a cup of coffee, Dad?
No. No thanks, Eddie.
At least you can smoke in here. I'm having a roll up.
They keep you hanging about, don't they?
Your idea to get here early? Another half hour with the paper.
Doesn't hurt to show a bit of respect by being on time.
Blimey. Turned out to be a right crawl.
We've thought about it long and hard over the past few weeks.
You're checking, that's where it is.
I don't reckon I got no choice.
Of course you have. You want to go out fighting, Dad.
After all I've been through lately, I couldn't live with myself if I didn't tell the truth about them sheep.
You're asking to be clobbered. Just encourages them to beat you down.
There's more joy in heaven over one sinner that repents than... Yeah, well, I can't remember the rest.
That's a letter that wouldn't let you plead guilty. You're barely doing your own defence.
I don't need anyone else to speak for me. I'm not ashamed to stand up in that court and tell them how it was. Throw myself on their mercy.
I hope for your sake it's not Phil Archer on the bench.
After all, there were, what do you call it, extenuating circumstances. Were there? Well, you remember that attack of Farmer's lung I had in the spring?
Remember those attacks of staying in bed skiving you had? It happens about once a fortnight.
When I was laid up and too sick to go to market like I'd intended for the youth.
I thought you were going to tell the truth.
I had a day in bed, didn't I?
The truth? The whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Where is the truth? I'm going to tell him what happened. I'm prepared to pay the price.
We're here, we're here! look at the little boat.
Hey, do you have to lean over like that, Walter? You nearly squashed my sandwiches.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
Why didn't you sit by the window in the first place?
Well, I would have done if you hadn't have jumped in there. I didn't ask you to sit by me.
Oh, that's nice, I'm sure. I thought you'd be pleased with the company.
It mean of Phil and Jill to stop Dan coming.
They thought it was too much on top of the wedding.
My Nelson never stopped me doing what I want. I say that for him.
My Prue needs a spare seat next to her anyway. She's all elbows when she's doing her knitting.
Is that the balaclava she's making? Haven't seen one of them since the war.
Yes, it's for our Peter. Oh, he's out in all weathers in that pickup truck.
Oh, look, a donkey. Hey, I want to ride on one of them.
Hey, well, mate, if we make straight for that boat we played last time, with the ship's wheel behind the bar. Oh, I could just about do with a beer.
Oh, well, I don't mind, Tom. Oh, Mrs. P's got me packed lunch, though.
Oh, dear.
Right, everybody! Here we are in Western at last. Now, as you know, you are completely free to do what you like. Completely free, but I do strongly recommend a trip to the museum in Burlington Street.
Oh, want to come to the seaside to look at a museum?
They have some most interesting Iron Age relics.
She should know.
Now, about our return trip, we must leave at 4:30 prompt. And I mean prompt, in order to miss the traffic.
Oh, that's early, isn't it?
Here we don't get muddled. Let's all write down the registration number of the bus. If we get our paper and pencils ready, I'll call out the number in a minute.
They could get his program on the telly.
Why, Mr. Gabriel, have you got your paper and pencil?
I don't need to write it down. I've still got a brain, you know.
Oh, come on. It won't take long.
Well, what if I lost it? I'm better off keeping it in my head.
I'll make sure he gets it written down, Mrs Antrobus.
Good. Are you going to come and have a cup of tea with me and Peggy and Mrs. Perkins, Mr. Gabriel?
No, thank you, ma'am. I've come here to enjoy myself.
We done it, Eddie. Here.
You jammy devil. It could have been me. I'd have got 20 years.
I knew I was right about my faith in the great provider, but I never thought he'd manage to get me all.
Hey, steady on, Dad. It's only for a month. Only because the ministry bloke didn't show up.
Sick leave, eh? He's probably rethinking the old case. Been having delusions about seeing too many sheep.
Of course. He might not be back next month either. He could go on for ages.
The Lord works in mysterious ways, Eddie. Drink up, I'll buy you another.
Great. Sir.
Joe! I thought we'd never see you again.
Oh, hello, Nigel.
We're not buying one for him.
Weren't you in court this morning? Did you manage to bite through the handcuffs?
You better scarf her. The police are outside in their flak jackets. And the sniffer dogs and the black mariah.
I suppose you think that's funny.
Any minute now, they'll start shouting through a megaphone. We know you're in there, Grundy. Come out with your hands up and nobody will get hurt.
Hey, give it a rest, will you?
You were very cheerful, I must say.
Actually, it's a sad day. I've just waved goodbye to Mr. Snowy on his epic trip to the frozen wastes.
Don't worry, Nigel. You'll soon make friends among the polar bears.
Cracked! A pair of you! And I've just had my last earnings for the foreseeable future. Lizzie and I are making the most of them.
Yeah, looks like it.
Well, tell us how you swung it, Joe. Did you pass around your photos of William in the bath and melt their hearts?
It's the luck of the devil. The bloke from the ministry didn't show up. Dad's got a month's grace.
He didn't show up. That's a bad sign, isn't it, Lizzie?
Seems like pretty good news to me.
It just gives the prosecution more time to amass the evidence.
Yeah, there's all your previous convictions to go through.
You didn't let on about that time you were stopped for having bald tyres on the Borchester Turnpike, did you?
Well, of course not. Anyway, it was your van.
Still, it'll give you time to save up for the fine.
How much it'll be?
£1,000, I think Mark said.
What?
Or was it 2,000, Lizzie?
£2,000? We only billed a few £100. And he didn't even get the money.
They take these things very seriously in the common market.
£2,000?
Of course, you don't have to pay. But you could always go to prison.
I told you. You'll be in with Alf.
But I wouldn't advise it. You hear such dreadful things about these continental jails.
What do you mean, continental?
Well, it's an offence against the European community, Joe. You can't expect to take up cell space over here. It could be Brussels, Strasbourg.
Yeah, you're having me on.
Of course, Greece is in now. There's loads of prisons there.
Greece? That where they have them Ayatollahs? No, he can't stomach foreign food, not even the way Clevery cooks it.
You're having you on, Dad.
Once you've had your first flogging, it's not so bad.
It's going without sleep that's the worst. And the bright lights, they shine in your eyes.
To me, I'm in this, sir.
You're going to play Delphi.
Well, I changed my mind. Hey, where's that solicitor fella gone on his honeymoon?
Mark? Well, you can't expect me to tell you that.
Scotland, aren't it?
I'm not telling you.
Scotland? Here's me about to be locked up in a foreign jail and then me toenails pulled out and he's dancing about with a little dagger in his hat. Where is he? I want to talk to him.
Come along, Walter. We don't want to be late.
I can't go any faster, Tom. Oh, my poor old legs can't stand it.
Well, you heard what she said. 4:30 by the Punch and Judy man.
Why have we got to leave so early anyway? We don't usually set off till 6.
I suppose you got to be back to feed those, eh?
Oh, I'm going to tell my Nelson about her. She's a bully, that woman.
You'd be better off if you hadn't got that great doll to carry.
Oh, he's lovely, my clown. I knew if I had one more go, I'd win something. Yeah, I felt lucky.
Anyway, we haven't got far to go now. I can see our coach along there.
Oh, you could never read the number plate from here, can you?
No, but it says Foxes of Borchester in big letters on the back. I hope Prue got to the shops all right.
Oh, I wonder how Joe's got on in court. He could get a big fine, you know.
I'm sure he'll think of some tale to tell him. You know, Joe, he's never short of excuses for all his shouting about the Bible.
Tom!
What is it?
Look, our coach. It's pulling away.
What? Hang on a minute. Wait for us.
Tom, stop him.
Hang on, we may come in.
Oh, don't go without me, Tom.
Stop, I say. Wait a minute. Did you see that?
It's turned off into the town.
There's no way we'll catch it now. Oh, I can't understand it. They must have seen us.
Oh, it's that dog woman. She's probably told him to drive off anyway. I expect she's laughing her socks off.
Well, I can't run out of it. Not at my age.
Oh, she's always had the downer on me.
And I only makes it a minute past the half hour. Oh, well, you wasn't that late.
Oh, a second past would be enough for her.
But why didn't Prue tell the driver to wait? She knew we weren't on it. So did others, for that matter.
Yeah, maybe that woman's turned them against us, brainwashed them. I saw a film about it once.
Oh, don't be daft. You couldn't brainwash my Prue.
No. Oh, unless she's left Prue behind as well. Perhaps we're all stranded.
Hey, now, steady on.
Stranded in Weston. Oh, my Nelson will be ever so worried.
It's all right, Walter. Now, don't panic.
Oh, but what are we going to do, Tom? What are we going to do?
But why would anybody take me flower, Master Davy?
Oh, I don't know, Jethro. It's one of life's mysteries.
Yeah, you wasn't expecting a buttonhole to begin with. But then Miss Shula promised me.
Like the way bread always lands buttered side down. Oh, come on. You doesn't like having her feet trimmed, does she?
Oh, still, you stupid beggar. Walter had a flower and Tom.
Everyone who knew about them was supposed to pick one up as they came into the church. All it meant was that someone who shouldn't have had one took one by mistake.
He was a bit put out for the time, I don't mind telling you.
You could have had mine if I'd known. I felt enough of a turkey in that morning suit as it was.
My Clary said not to make a fuss, so I didn't.
Good.
But it had been preying on me mind, see?
Why don't you tell Shula when she gets back? She can quiz all Mark's relations till she finds the cult.
I might mention it.
Right. Go on, you can let this one out now.
Get of it. Should we have a bit of a rest?
We've still got over a dozen to do. Oh, right.
It hurts me back, this job.
What job do you like, Jethro? Eh? Polishing the tractor?
Morning.
Oh, hello, Brian.
Morning, Mr. Aldrich.
Hello, Jethro. Keeping well?
Yes, Frank. Wouldn't grumble.
Like that. What can I do for you, Brian?
Phil asked me to call by to look at his rape figures. He doesn't seem to be around.
No, he took the ADAS bloke down to Hollow Tree. I'll come down. I know what he wanted to ask you. You can finish off here, can't you, Jethro?
Right, Master David.
If you see Dad before I do, tell him Brian's here, right?
Yep. You know what job I like? Head laying.
Good. I'll remember that.
Morning, Jethro.
Oh, hello, Joe. What you doing here?
Just taking a walk, breathing the sweet English air, and enjoying me freedom.
Larry told me your case got put off. Oh, you don't seem very pleased about it.
Oh, well, I got other worries. Mrs. Archer in this morning?
Nope. It's her day for Meals on Wheels for the old folks. Cross is here and Master David.
Dang it. Don't suppose you know where Shula Archer and that lawyer fella have gone on honeymoon?
Oh, of course I don't. Anyway, it's not Shula Archer anymore.
Just thought someone might have mentioned it.
It's a secret. Honeymoon's all at sea.
Only before the wedding? No harm anyone knowing afterwards?
But it's private.
You could ask. Drop it in the conversation, casual like.
What for?
Never mind what for. Just do me a favour.
Oh, last time I did, it got me into trouble. Raising the boss's shoes on your feet.
Got you into trouble, I like that.
We lost one of our best shoes when they broke out.
What's that? Compared with losing your freedom. How would you like to be locked up in some foreign jail, having your fingernails pulled out, eh?
So the coach hadn't really gone without them?
Of course it hadn't. It had to move off a double yellow line where the traffic warden was coming.
Poor Walter. He must have been terrified.
Well, naturally, wouldn't you be at the thought of spending the night in a strange town with Tom Forrest?
Do be mean. What did they do?
They were wandering along in their kiss-me-quick hats, and they saw Mrs Antrobus bearing down on them.
I suppose she was furious.
Well, actually, she was most apologetic. I think Tom got more of a wigging from Prue.
I do feel sorry for him. He's had a rotten time lately with those types in Blind Cottage.
I'm going to get Dad to join the Edgeley Evergreens. I'm sure they're better organised.
You leave him be. He likes the over-60s. You still haven't told me what you thought of the wedding.
I don't really like weddings. I enjoy the surroundings. Your uncle has some remarkable pieces of furniture.
He also has a very official burglar alarm.
Caroline, would I?
I never know with you.
What does he do when the hoi polloi is swarming all over the Van Dyke room? Must be very difficult for him.
It depends. He usually sits in the old nursery and pores over his stamp collection. Sometimes he goes out and shoots.
It must be dreadful seeing the peasantry making whoopee among the old masters.
Oh, I shouldn't feel sorry for him. Very lucrative. And it's only certain days of the year. It's much better than opening the place to the public and having them peer in the windows when you're having Sunday lunch.
I suppose anything's an improvement on having tigers and a funfair in the ground.
Exactly.
I'm always surprised Jack Woolley hasn't tried a funfair at Grey Gables. How are things up there? Is the bewitching Hazel still casting her spell?
Well, Tony Archer stopped hanging around, if that's what you mean. She's been quite well behaved since I got back from Scotland.
I'm glad to hear it.
Hello?
Hello, David.
Oh, we don't see you in here very often. Are you looking for Sophie?
No, I had to go and see the accountant.
Oh, dear. You need a drink?
Yeah, well, thought I might as well. He's not sure if we need a computer.
Well, you can't expect an unbiased opinion from him. You take a drop in fees for a start.
Yeah, I suppose so. A pint of lager, please.
Certainly.
Have you heard anything from Shula and Mark?
No. Well, it's not what honeymoons are for, is it, writing postcards?
Where have they gone, exactly?
Somewhere on the Tweed, I think. Why is everyone so interested?
I'm merely practicing the art of conversation. They tell me it's dying.
I had Jethro asking me this morning. I wish he'd write to Shula about his wretched buttonhole instead of going on at me all the time.
Mind that guttering, Steve. Looks as though it might come away.
Afternoon, Mr. Aldrich.
Oh, hello, Jethro.
Oi. What's going on here, then?
What does it look like?
Are you taking the roof off?
Well done. All right with you, is it?
Oh, you're hotty. Master David sent me over with the jackie for us.
Oh, thanks. You needn't have brought it out here. Could have left it in the workshop.
I wanted you to see I brought it back all right. Here you be.
Thanks.
You've taken the roof off, you say?
That's right.
But what'll happen if it rains? It said on the forecast.
Yes, I heard the forecast.
The upstairs will get all wet.
I expect it will.
Hang on a minute. There's people living in this cottage. Them young lads.
Yes, I know.
Are they in there?
Of course they're not. You can't see their motorbikes anywhere, can you?
They ain't going to be bad pleased.
Hadn't you better be getting back?
Your chaps are drifted right down to the rafters.
Afternoon?
Oh, hi, Caroline.
Hello, miss. Hello, Dottie.
Bye then, Jethro.
Taking the roof off this time of year? Miles. Cheerio, Mr. Aldrich.
What on earth's going on?
Oh, don't you start. Just had to explain it in words of one syllable to Brain of Britain.
You're forcing those bike boys out.
Oh, you're a bit quicker than he is, I must say.
Is it legal?
I don't care if it is or not. Not enough faffing about with this place.
Gosh.
Yeah, not bad, is it? They'll probably stick it out for a day or so, but the minute it rains, they'll clear off.
I suppose they had been a terrible nuisance in the village. George is convinced they had a brace of pheasants.
They'll find somewhere else to squat, don't you worry. Half tempted to point them in the direction of Bridge Farm.
They've broken that upstairs window, look. I wonder what it's like inside.
If the state of the garden's anything to go by, I'm not expecting ideal home.
Dusty. They must have hurled their rubbish out of the window.
Well, I'll get someone to go over it with the rotavator. Won't take long.
What are you going to say when the word gets around?
I shall be very modest. I'll accept life presidency of the PCC and allow them to put my statue up on the green.
I mean, Pat.
Oh, what can she do? Organise a protest at playgroup and bring the kids up here for a play-in?
Yes, but what if these lads complain to Sergeant Barry or something?
Oh, come on. They wouldn't go near him. Probably got criminal records as long as your arm. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, I'm doing them a favour.
Yes. Air conditioning.
That roof was dreadfully leaky, and I know for a fact the chimney was unsafe.
Right.
I'm stripping it down for essential repairs, that's all. I'd say it was the action of a very caring landlord.
What time is it?
Hang on. 10 to 7.
10 to 7.
That's right.
Nearly time for dinner.
Oh, I don't know. We haven't got to get up for ages. I don't want to be first down.
I'm going to have the salmon again.
Sacrilege not to. That one I got today was a 10-pounder, you know.
You were wonderful. I wish you didn't have to wade out so far, though. I was worried.
What you need here is a long cast. Give the fly time to sink and then lead it round through the current.
I wish I understood what you were talking about.
You ought to have a go. That's the best way to learn.
Oh, it's all right. I'm quite happy watching you. You look so sweet in your waders.
We could take a boat out. You wouldn't have to get wet.
Then we could both go to a watery grave. How poetic.
You're morbid.
Oh, not peaceful here. I wonder how everyone is in Ambridge.
We had an agreement. We weren't going to talk about home.
Yes, but it's fatal. The minute you try not to think about anything, you can't help it. Like cream cake.
You can phone up if you want. Tell them you're missing your cheese plant.
Oh, I hope Mum remembers to water it. I hope it likes the flat.
It's probably having a wonderful time. Eating when it wants to, watching telly, inviting its friends round for parties.
Oh, I can't believe that less than a week ago I was still living at home with that cheese plant in my bedroom. Now I'm married.
Oh, no. It's all right. Only room service confirming the smoked salmon and champagne.
I wish it was. I'm starving.
I know what makes you hungry.
Rubbish. It's the fresh air.
Hello? Yes? Oh. Well, who is it?
Mark?
Who? Oh, all right. You'd better put it through. Yes, I'll hang on.
There's nothing wrong, is there?
You know what you were saying about home?
It's not your mother.
It's Joe Grundy.
What? What's he doing phoning us? How did he get the number?
I haven't the faintest idea.
What does he want?
He told the receptionist it was a matter of life or death.
Oh, that's nice. The woman who left her slippers in the primrose room has written to thank us for sending them back.
Good. Listen to this, Caroline.
Contrary to popular belief, the chrysanthemum originated in China, not Japan. I'll bet you didn't know that.
No, can't say I did.
Yeah.
And someone here wants us to organise a dinner dance for their silver wedding.
The flower arrived in Japan in AD 386, and by the 8th century it became established as a national emblem. Well, I never...
I presume we're having our own Saturday night dinner dances through the winter, Mr. Woolley.
The emperors wrote poems in its praise. Oh, sorry, Caroline, what did you say?
Dinner dances. We'll have to hurry up and book a band.
No, don't be silly. We're having Tommy Croker and the quartet back. I told him so last year.
Oh, you don't think it's time for a change?
Whatever for? We're very lucky to get him. He's in great demand.
Yes. It's odd he doesn't play anywhere else round here, don't you think?
Oh, Felpersham Rotary Club always have him at their dues. Oh, it's fascinating, this book. Apparently the highest honour a citizen could get was the Order of the Chrysanthemum.
Perhaps you could invest Higgs with it when he retires.
You know, I'm worried about Higgs. I was looking for him all over the other afternoon, and I couldn't find him anywhere.
Did you try the boiler room? He often takes his cup of tea in there to listen to the racing results.
Oh, looked high and low. And the car was missing.
Have you asked him where he was?
Well, don't like to upset him now we're so close to the Chrysanthemum show. You know I rely on him.
You've got nothing to worry about, Mr. Woolley. You always win.
And there's a lot of people who'd like to stop me. They'd all like to know the secret of my Trudy Bye and my green chartreuse.
Morning.
Morning, Hazel.
Hello, Poppet. You're up early.
I've got a lot to do. I'm entertaining a conference organiser at lunchtime, Daddy. All right.
Excellent, yes. That's the way to get new business.
And I'm sick of all the rubbish in my office. I want to have a good sort out. I've started with that filing cabinet behind the door.
You haven't thrown anything away, have you? All that stuff's in there for a purpose.
Only old letters and things. I've chucked them all on the floor. They can go in your office if they're so precious.
But there isn't room.
You're self-efficient, Caroline. I'm sure you can make room if you try. See what I found, Daddy.
Hey? Oh, that's the special brochure we did when we had the swimming pool installed.
Look at Shula bulging out of the bikini.
Hey?
I can see Patrick Litchfield didn't take the photos. This palm tree's growing out of her head.
Right, I'd better get on with the post.
Yes.
I'll see if we've got a spare filing cabinet anywhere.
Thank you, Caroline.
Bye. Have fun.
You mustn't mock us, you know, Pet. This brochure was a bit of a rush job.
Oh, I can see that. But the rest of your literature's just as amateur. I've had a look.
Amateur? Do you think so?
Captain could write better copy.
Oh.
Anyway, no one relies on bits of paper for publicity nowadays. They're much more sophisticated techniques. You ought to talk to a couple of friends of mine.
Well, it's very kind of you, sweetheart, but we've just had 10,000 of our brochures printed. I know for a fact.
Oh, forget the brochures. I mean a video.
Eh? A video?
You know, action, music, a bit of pizzazz.
I don't know if Grey Gables needs pizzazz exactly.
I've got all the contacts. I know a cameraman and sound guy who'll do you a really good price.
Oh, and how much would that be?
Peanuts. Why don't I invite them down to have a look? You'd only have to pay their expenses. Oh, say yes, Daddy. Just for me.
Walter was in a right old panic, Dan. He thought we'd had to sleep on the beach.
Oh, dear me.
He said Prue wouldn't have let the coach go without us. Hey, should you be bending over like that?
Oh, for heaven's sake, Tom, stop fussing. You know these wallflowers have got to be in before Michaelmas. They get them settled in before the cold weather.
Well, you can make you giddy. I have it first thing in the morning. I get up and the whole room's a spinning round.
Got nothing to do with the shires the night before, I suppose?
Of course not. It's the blood rushing to your head.
Aye, and the alcohol rushing to your knees. Hey, pass me the trowel, will you?
Yeah, then. Mind you, I've been sleeping that badly of late. I don't feel too bright any of the time.
Those young hooligans still keeping you awake?
Funnily enough, it was quiet as a grave last night. That was worse in a way. I was lying there waiting for the row to start.
You ought to see Dr. Poole. Get something for your nerves.
I had that one of Prue's little yellow tablets the other night.
I thought Brian promised he'd do something about it.
That was last week. I haven't heard any more.
Well, it's a bit odd. I haven't seen those youths today. They usually come roaring through the village about this time on the way to the... Oh, hey, give me a hand up, will you?
Righto.
Go there. Oh, thanks. Hey, that's better. I've got some Canterbury bells to get in the long border as well.
You've still got a good bit of colour in the garden.
The Michaelmas daisies aren't bad, eh? And Doris's dahlias, of course.
I reckon your chrysanthemums are just as good as Mr. Wooley's, for all the money he spends on them.
I gave a few to Jill. She's doing the church flowers this week.
Oh,
she's heard from Shula, by the way.
Oh, are they having a nice time?
Yeah, apart from the phone calls from Joe Grundy.
Hey?
He says Elizabeth told him he could get 20 years in a foreign prison over that EEC crime.
Elizabeth? Oh, he never believed that.
Well, and he says he knew she was joking, but he was worried enough to phone them in Scotland, wasn't he? I think Mark was a bit short with him.
Yeah, and I ain't surprised. Oh, dear, what a liberty.
Hello.
Oh, hello, love.
Morning, Pat.
Brought you a few of our carrots, Grandad. You tasted them yet?
Ah, these are famous organic ones that'll make a new man of me. Oh, thank you very much.
Brew did some last Sunday. Very nice they were, too.
We've had them every night this week. You can't have too much of a good thing.
Can you stay for a cup of tea?
Yes, please, if it's no trouble.
I'm still capable of putting the kettle on.
I know you are. I didn't stop you going to Weston.
Phil and Jill mean well, but they just fuss a bit. Hey, how about you, Tom?
No, I must be getting back, thanks. They've only sent me to the shop for some pickling vinegar. They've been gone an hour.
You must be relieved anyway, Uncle Tom. You won't have any more trouble with those lads.
Why, the Brown taking the radios away?
Oh, he's got them out. They're gone. For good.
Well, how did he manage that?
You know Brian. His usual softly approach. He took the roof off.
I didn't even know Brian had a friend in Canada. He only wrote this week, but he doesn't think there'll be any problem.
He might have consulted you.
Oh, it's good of him to be so concerned about Adam. After all, he's not his father.
If he was, perhaps he wouldn't be so keen to pack him off to the Arctic.
It'll do Adam the world of good, Pat. And we'll go and see him at Christmas.
Doesn't he get a say in the matter?
Well, he couldn't come up with any better ideas. I mean, he said he wouldn't mind being bass guitar in a rock group. But it's not what I call a career.
I could do a lot worse. Most of them are millionaires.
He's only saying that because he can't be bothered to think of anything else. I don't want him to end up like Nigel Pargeter, 27 and never had a proper job. He's out of work again, you know.
So are 3 million others. He can always sponge off his parents.
He asked Caroline if there were any jobs at Grey Gables. Hope he doesn't ask us. It's so embarrassing having to say no.
Oh, I'd have thought Brian could have found him a lot to do now he's in the demolition business.
Demolition? He's busy drilling his barley.
So he wouldn't know anything about how the roof got taken off the cottage?
Oh, don't start that again, Pat.
I'm not starting anything. But I didn't think even Brian would be that unreasonable.
It was impossible to reason with those people. We tried.
He didn't have to resort to harassment.
No one laid a finger on them. Anyway, he had to take the roof off. It needs some repairs.
Oh, I bet it does. He'll probably get a grant and everything. I don't know how you can let yourself be browbeaten by him, Jennifer. You used to have a mind of your own.
I'm not browbeaten.
One of these days, someone will find out about Brian and you won't know what's hit him.
What do you mean, find out? Have you heard it then?
What?
That old muck spreader lives at Little Croxley.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, never mind. Look, I don't want to argue. I came over to bring you these.
What are they?
Some designs I've done for your flower bags. There's this one, look, with the corn and the poppies. Or this with the Gothic script. I like the green ink, don't you?
We can't use those.
Not because of this silly business with Brian.
No, I've asked Gareth at the Tech to do some. It's going to be his graphics project.
But I've been working on these all week.
I'm sorry, Jennifer, I didn't know. I'm committed to him now.
I don't know how he had the nerve to phone them on their honeymoon, Tom. It's nothing sacred.
Well, Joe's never been a great respecter of other folks' privacy. All he could do when he got through, you know, was shout at him because they'd been out all day.
Oh, no wonder Mark was cross. Come on, Captain!
And he tried to reverse the charges all the way to Scotland.
Everyone knows he'd only get a fine.
We believe this cotton wool story about foreign jails and being fed on potato peelings. Of course, he swears now he knew all along as it was a joke.
Yes, Elizabeth and Nigel do get a bit carried away sometimes.
Of course, Joe's never liked the Scots either. Look at what he said about Andrew Sinclair last Burns night.
Fancy tricking the number out of Bunty Hebden. Dives to let Joe.
Come on, Captain. Leave that horrid sweet paper alone.
He misses Nigel, doesn't he? Oh, he used to get all the broken cornets.
Oh, he's a walking dustbin. It won't hurt him to do without.
I suppose Mr. Woolley will want him in this video affair.
Oh, yes. He expects him to growl on the credits like the MGM lion.
But Trude is ever so excited about it. She reckons she'll be talent-spotted and end up in Hollywood.
I doubt if any of us will have starring roles. Hazel's directing, remember?
Well, I hope she knows what she's doing.
It is her line of work. She might turn out to be very good.
It's another excuse to throw her weight about, if you asks me.
Trouble with Hazel is you can't help but suspect an ulterior motive. It's the way the hairs on the back of your neck prickle when she tries to be friendly. Hello, Jennifer.
Ah, good afternoon. Didn't call on Dan?
I can't get any reply. Do you know if he was planning to go out this afternoon?
Well, he hasn't said anything to me.
Then I've got all his shopping in the car, and I can't seem to be able to make him hear.
He's not in the garden, is he?
No, I've been round the back, and it's all locked up.
The front door's usually on the latch.
Oh, Sergeant Barry's fault. He frightened everyone out of their wits with his crime prevention talk at the over 60s. They all think they're going to be mugged for their pensions.
Well, you know what it is. He's probably dozed off.
Could be. Jill couldn't make him hear at the weekend, and he's fallen asleep in his chair.
No, you better leave it. Can't you call back later?
Well, it's a bit of a bore. I don't want to lug all his shopping to Home Farm and back again. Got the Harveys coming to supper tonight.
Here, I'll tell you what. I'll come and bang on the door for you. He might hear that.
Haven't made the pudding yet.
There's a spare key at Brookfield, isn't there? Why don't you nip and get it?
Oh, that's a thought. Brian gets so cross if I'm still whipping the cream when people are at the door. There you are. Grandad!
I gave up hammering after a couple of minutes. I felt such a fool.
Oh, I'm sorry I was such a long time. Jill was out and I couldn't remember which pot on the dresser she hid the key in.
She's doing the church flowers today, now I come to think of it.
Grandad! Huh? Must be on.
He's probably over at Waters here now. He got left behind at Weston. Did he tell you about that? Oh, he had a right old game.
No!
What?
Oh, Grandad!
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Oh, he must have fallen.
Wonder how long he's been like this.
Oh, it could be hours. Oh, Grandad.
Shall we try and turn him over?
No, I don't think we should move him. Where's his pulse?
He must have caught his head on the fender. Oh, he's very pale.
Oh, Grandad. You better phone for an ambulance, Uncle Tom. Quickly.
The Archers was written by Joanna Toy and produced by William Smithers. The agricultural story editor was Anthony Perkin, and the director in our Birmingham studios was Peter Windows. And now